Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Vinyl Den, your channel for record collecting by record collectors. I'm Nick. It's Tuesday. It's time to talk about some new releases coming out this Friday, January 27th. It's kind of a big list. I've got a little over 400 titles coming out this Friday. I got 18 I'm going to talk about today, though. There's a bunch of links down below. Make sure you go check them out. There's links for the Vinyl Den Facebook group, for our merch page, for the Spotify and Apple Music weekly playlist that we put together, and also the Patreon page. So make sure you go check all that out. Of course, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give me the old thumbs up, hit that subscribe button down below, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I release new episodes. Like I said in the intro, we're kind of back to normal as far as new releases go. Big week this week. A lot of big releases coming out. I got 18 I'm going to talk about today. If there's something I don't talk about on the show today that you're interested in that's coming out this week, make sure you drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you're looking forward to. And like always, if you're unable to find any of these in your local brick and mortar stores, I'll put links down below. All these will be available online. The first one is one that I've had on pre-order since the second pre-orders went out for it. It's one of my favorite albums by this band. But this is Nimrod by Green Day. Original release back in 1997. This is the 25th anniversary release, even though last year was the 25th anniversary for the album. There's two different versions of this. There's a black version and then the silver version. I did pre-order the silver version. They're about the same price online. It's going to run you about $110 online. I think they were a little more expensive on the Green Day website. I think they were like $120 or $125 on the website, but they are available on Amazon for a little cheaper than that. It's a 5 LP set and includes includes the original album Nimrod. Also has a 1 LP of unreleased demos, and then there's a 2 LP live set from Philadelphia from November of '97. I love this album. Like I said, it's one of my favorite Green Day albums. This also comes with a platter mat and a booklet if you're interested in the little extra stuff in there. Like I said, I've had the pre-order since they went up. I'm definitely looking forward to that one. And then this next one, I kind of considered it. I do love this next one, but I have a standard pressing or standard copy of this album, and for the price of it, I really couldn't justify, even though I think it is a great album. But anyway, this is the Eminem Show by Eminem, first released in 2002. It's, of course, Eminem's fourth studio album. It is a great album, especially that whole beginning part of Eminem's career is absolutely incredible. But this is the Deluxe Expanded Edition 4 LP set. It's going to run you about $100 online. Like I said, I love the album, but the only thing really extra in here that I saw was just there's some live stuff from Tramps in New York in '99, and then live at the Fuji Rock Festival from 2001, and then there's like 8 instrumental tracks. So I don't know. I'm fine with just the standard copy I have, but I think if you don't have a copy of this album, or you're a big Eminem fan, I think that is a pretty cool one that's coming out. Another album that I've been looking forward to for a very, very long time. This week you got Wish by The Cure being reissued. First came out back in 1992. It's The Cure's 9th studio album. This is the 2 LP 30th anniversary release. Newly remastered. This thing hasn't been officially available since 1992. I do have an unofficial pressing of it. I've already got this one on pre-order with my local record store, so I'm looking forward to this. It's going to run you about $44 online. Friday I'm in Love, Letter to Elise, I think are two of the big tracks that were on that album. But like I said, it's probably my favorite album by The Cure. I've loved it for a really long time. So, and because it's been out of print, original pressings or official pressings of that album were, running about $150, and it was just a little bit too much for me to drop on an album. So definitely, mid 40s, I'll definitely grab that one. I actually, the bootleg, the unofficial pressing I have, I want to say that thing was like $75 when it came out a year or two back. But another album that I've got pre-ordered that I'm looking forward to, this is the reissue of Meliora by Ghost. I think that's how you pronounce it. But first came out back in 2015. It's Ghost's third studio album. This is a indie exclusive translucent yellow pressing that is coming out. It's going to run about $31 online. It's a 2 LP album. I think it's kind of widely regarded as probably one of Ghost's best albums. I wasn't a big Ghost fan until Impera came out last year, been getting more and more into their albums. I actually love this album, and I've been waiting for this album to come out. So like I said, I definitely got that Cure album on pre-order. I definitely got that Ghost album on pre-order too. The next one is one that was actually a RSD release last year. It was RSD first last year. It's finally getting reissued. But this is Childish Gambino, Kauai. Came out back in 2014. It's an EP, and this is on. I don't know. When it came out for Record Store Day, I want to say it was there's two different colors. There was a blue version and a yellow version. I'm not sure if this is colored. I didn't see it anywhere online, so this might actually just be like a standard black reissue of this. It's going to run you $24 online. Sober was the big hit that was on here. I will say that if you're a Childish Gambino fan, if you're a rap fan, hip hop fan, definitely check this album out if you're unfamiliar with it. It's absolutely fantastic album. Probably some of my favorite stuff from Childish Gambino. And then another album that I've had on pre-order for a while. Actually, it's probably been almost probably 8 or 10 months I've had this on pre-order. This is Let Go by Avril Lavigne. First came out in 2002, her debut studio album. This is the 20th anniversary release, even though, 20th anniversary was last year. But anyway, because all the delays and everything, obviously, we're seeing a lot of stuff come out at the beginning part of this year. There are like anniversary releases for anniversaries of last year. But so this is an expanded edition. It's got alternate artwork. I will say that there's also a Target exclusive that's on red vinyl. It's going to run you about $30 online. And what separates this from some of the other anniversary releases that we've seen over the last couple of months, a lot of the anniversary releases don't really come with anything extra in them. There's actually 6 additional bonus tracks that come with this one. So I'm definitely looking forward to grabbing that one. Something that I know a lot of people out there are really looking forward to. I've seen a lot of talk over the last couple of weeks about this release, but this is Dokken, the Elektra albums. This is a 5 LP set covering their albums from 83 to 87. It's going to run you about $157, $160 online. So the albums that are included in this, you got Breaking the Chains, which was released, I think it was 81 when it was first released, but it got reissued in 83. I think part of it was re-recorded. It's different than the first release. But anyway, you got that was released in 83. You got Tooth and Nail from 84, Under Lock and Key from 85, and Back for the Attack, which came out in 87. All these are all newly remastered. If you're a Dokken fan, I think it's a cool one to grab. I'm not the biggest fan of Dokken. I'm probably someone that could probably do just a greatest hits collection from Dokken. But that looks like a pretty cool box set. Like I said, if you're a big Dokken fan, and then you got Fastway, their self-titled debut album from '83. It's being reissued this week. 40th anniversary release of this. This is a music on vinyl release. So this might be kind of harder to grab. It's limited to 1,000 copies. Like I said, it's going to be music on vinyl releases tend to be kind of hard. I know some people have been ordering them or pre-ordering them straight from music stores over in Europe because they come out of the Netherlands. I think is where music on vinyl releases come out of. So they kind of trickle out into Europe first and then make their way over here a week or two later. So it, like I said, it's only limited to 1,000 copies, so it might be a hard one to grab. Another pretty limited release that's coming out this week. This is Idlewild South by Allman Brothers Band, released back in 1970. Allman Brothers Band's second studio album. This is limited to 1,000 copies. I think this is going to be a pretty hard one to grab also. It's going to run you about $33 online. I'm not the biggest fan of the Allman Brothers, but this is a great album. One that is probably the only album of theirs that I can really I like to sit down and listen to all the way through. But if you're able to grab a copy, that might be a good one to grab. And then you got a pretty big set from Bob Dylan coming out this week. This is Fragments, Time Out of Mind Sessions, 1996, 1997. It's a 4 LP set. This is part of the official bootleg series. This is volume 17. It's going to run you $100 online. I thought I saw somewhere that there's also like a 10 LP set coming out, but I couldn't find pricing or really a whole lot of information on that bigger set. This one includes a new remix of the original album, Time Out of Mind, and then it also has previously unreleased tracks, outtakes, and alternate versions. I think this is a pretty cool set. I'm assuming this is probably also going to be available on streaming. $100 is a lot for me to drop on a box set like that, but I'll definitely check out. It's available online. There is a soundtrack coming out this week that I'm actually looking forward to. I'm not a huge soundtrack person. I do love like some 80s soundtracks and things like that, or some 90s soundtracks, but most of the stuff that's come out over the last few years, it's okay, but I tend to pass on it. But this one is Halloween Ends. It's going to run you about $55 online, so that's kind of why I stay away from a lot of the newer soundtracks, because they tend to be kind of pricey. This is actually a really good soundtrack. This is one of those instances where the soundtrack, in my opinion, is better than the movie. I was not a fan of the movie, but like I said, the soundtrack is pretty good. There's several variations of this, or several variants that have been released over the last few weeks. This is a cloudy green Australian exclusive version. It's available on Amazon. Like I said, $55 is definitely kind of pricey for a soundtrack, but like I said, it is a good soundtrack. And then this week you've also got Zac Brown Band, The Comeback Deluxe, being released. The Comeback was in his album back in 2021, and this is like a reimagined kind of album. This is Zac Brown Band with some of their favorite musicians. I know Paul McCartney did the same thing with McCartney 3 a year or two back. So it's kind of along those same lines. It's going to run you about $33 online. This was released on CD last year. And I think this is the first time this one's been available on vinyl, but I'm not a huge Zac Brown Band fan. They're one of those bands that I'm probably... Generally, I'm kind of better off just kind of streaming their stuff. But, if you're a fan of country music, you're a fan of Zac Brown, it's one I think that might be worth checking out. Sometimes some of those re-recordings can be kind of cool, but, it's kind of hit or miss for me. If you're a Ministry fan, there's a couple of reissues coming out this week from them. The first one, this is Houses of the Mole. This came out back in 2004. This is a music on vinyl release. So like I said, with the previous one, they can be kind of hard to get. They're generally pretty limited. This is limited to 1,500 copies. It's on gold vinyl. It's going to run you about $48 online. This is their 9th studio album. The interesting thing about this, and like I was talking about with the previous music on vinyl release, I saw some stores actually got this last week. One of my local record stores had one in stock, or one copy in stock, but for the most part, a lot of other places still have it on pre-order for this Friday. And this is the first time it's been available on vinyl since 2017, and even in 2017, it was really limited. I want to say it was only like 1,000 or 2,000 copies that were pressed back then. And so if you're a Ministry fan, that's coming out. And there's also Ministry Toronto 1986 coming out. First released back in 2015. This is on blue and black splatter. I saw the mock-up. It actually looks pretty cool online. It's going to run you about $33. This was recorded at the RPM Club in Toronto, April 10th, 1986. And some of the tracks actually made it and were released as part of like an FM broadcast around that time. So some of these tracks have trickled out on the bootlegs over the years. So some of this stuff has been released, but a lot of it hadn't been until this album came out, back 8 years ago now. But like I said, those two Ministry releases, if you're a Ministry fan, kind of keep your eyes out for those. Growing up in the 80s, I was, especially like the beginning part of the 80s, I was definitely an REO Speedwagon fan. I love some of their early 80s stuff. To be completely honest, I didn't know that they were making music really after the 80s. But there's the reissue coming out of Building the Bridge. Actually, I shouldn't say that because I did know this album existed, and I'll get to it in a second why. But this first came out in 1996. It was their 14th studio album. This is the first time it's ever been available on vinyl. It's going to run you about $35 online. The reason I know this album exists, or at least the song exists, was Bill Clinton used it during his campaign for when he was running for president or running for re-election in 1996. But that's the only song I've ever heard of this album. And then you've also got the new album from Sam Smith coming out this week. This is Gloria. It's going to run you about $23 online. This is his fourth studio album. It's been getting a lot of hype, but I've never listened to any of Sam Smith stuff, but I guess I should probably stream it and check it out. Then the last two on the list, these are both part of the Rhino Start Your Ear Off Right series that they've been doing over the month of January. Every week, every Friday, they release a couple of albums that are either like colored versions or stuff that hasn't been printed in a long time. But you got two Curtis Mayfield releases coming out this Friday. The first one, this is his self-titled album. It was actually his debut album from 1970. It's on light blue vinyl. Curtis Mayfield, is one of the biggest soul and R&B musicians of the last 50 years. If you're unfamiliar with it, you really should know at least these two albums. These are both pretty good. Like I said, so you got his self-titled album. It's going to run you $28 online. And then you got Curtis Live, which came out the next year. That was released in 1971. It's going to run you about $38 online, so a little bit more than the other one. This is going to be on, it's a double LP on burgundy vinyl. And this is from the Bitter End nightclub in New York City, January 1971. It's a great show, great set. So definitely check both of those out. Well, that's all I got for you today, guys. Thanks for checking the show out. Like I said in the beginning, there's a bunch of great stuff coming out this week. Definitely, like I said, I've got that Nimrod on pre-order. I got Wish on pre-order. I got that Ghost album on pre-order. I got that Avril Lavigne album on pre-order. So a lot of great stuff I'm looking forward to this week. I think that Dokken Box Set is going to sell pretty good. Fastway, that's going to go pretty quick. There's only 1,000 copies of that available. So drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys are looking forward to. Like I said, bunch of great stuff. I'm glad we're finally out of that lull from the holiday shopping season. The end of December, beginning of January tends to be a pretty light time for releases, but then we're kind of fully back into the swing of it. But let me know what you guys think. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give me the old thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. And that's all I got. Until next time, keep on spinning. Peace.